historically inaccurate beach. Like, this is
fake.
It's dragons.
Hi, welcome back to Book Club. This is Between Two Shelves, and this week we read Crescent City by Sarah J. Maas. Well, some of us read it this week.
Some of us read it a year
That's
ago.
what we're going to be talking about this week.
It's alright. It's a good one.
Yeah.
Sarah J. Maas, just queen.
Should we say like our overall
overall
opinions
feels of it?
Yeah, first.
I loved it. I thought it was so good. It's just like so unique from her other ones, you know? I really like the story, and I really liked all the characters.
Yeah. I also like, because this is her first, like, real adult novel.
Yeah.
Right? Like, this is, like, the
think
first
so.
one classified as adult, even though, like,
Which
the other
is
series...
funny because it had less adult.
Yeah, exactly.
content
Yeah, I
than
mean, like...
most of them.
But the main character's older, which, for me, like, I liked
did
more
like that.
because we're
Because I'm like,
older.
we're more her age. 'Cause she's
And
like
now it's
25.
not suddenly, like, 16-year-olds. You're like, where's your parents?
Yeah. The fact, like, it's more believable that she's been through a lot of crap because she's a little bit older, I feel like. But, yeah, I really liked it. I think it's probably my favorite of her
It might be
books,
on my...
which is saying a lot because...
Wait, like, even more than, like, ACOTAR series?
Yeah, like, I think that's her. This is my favorite one of hers. Because it's the most, has the most, like, depth.
Yeah.
Like, I feel like I don't know.
Okay, but do you like Rhysand or Hunt better?
I actually would say
They
I'm
are
gonna be
close.
honest with you.
We don't know Hunt yet, though. We don't know, like, all of the things about him.
Yeah, but what if he's
And
like
also-
the opposite Rhysand or like a Tamlin?
Well, first of all, just
Because
saying...
my thing at the end there, I was like, is this gonna be like all of her other books where the love interest?
That's what I'm gonna say. I'm not trying to get super like obsessed with Hunt because spoilers for all of her books. The first guy that the girl's with is never the guy that she ends with. But I'm hoping
maybe-
that she doesn't do that.
how many books are
Connor
gonna
But
be
yeah,
in the
because we
series?
had
First
Connor
one.
already, and we know she's
That
like,
ended
doing a
very
lot of
quickly
it.
though. So
And the fact that Hunt was redeemed at the end again, you know, like that seemed like
that
a good
did
sign.
kind of throw it. I was like,
Yeah.
My guess is they'll probably like break up and then get back together and then be it. How many books are gonna be in this series?
I don't know.
I don't know. We don't know.
Okay,
Alright.
you can say what you think.
What are your overall thoughts?
I liked the book. I really liked the book, but I think ACOTAR is what I prefer. Well, actually, I
Take
don't
your
know.
time.
Actually,
Really
I think
different.
ranking them,
Yeah.
to be honest, I think it goes Throne of Glass, I would say this one, and then I'd say ACOTAR if I had to be
Like
honest.
the first book, like Throne of Glass?
Just the
No,
series.
just the series
Oh, okay.
overall. Because if I had to rank the characters, though, that would be different. Like, main characters, I would say Aelin, Bryce, and then Farrah.
Same. That's exactly
If
how
it
I
was
rank
the
them.
males, then I would rank, like...
They're all
Rhysand.
different.
Then, probably,
I like Rowan a lot.
Rowan, and then I would say Hunt, to be
The
honest.
thing is, we
I
don't
don't
know Hunt.
him that much.
We had a lot
exactly.
of books with Rowan and with Reese,
Yeah.
so
haven't
like we
gotten
don't
to
know
her
Hunt.
well enough.
It's not fair to him.
Yeah, but it
I
was
love him
still,
so far,
This book
though.
was a
Yeah.
lot
I love.
longer than
He's
the
like
others.
so like sarcastic, and like
He's also kind of like a bad. Like,
yes.
I don't know. Like I like his like bad
that.
side. I'm like,
Yeah.
oh,
He's also stupid.
get it.
Like
Yeah.
he's smart, but he does like really dumb things.
Yeah.
And I'm just like, ugh, you're such like a himbo, but you know, like
He's not that
What's a
dumb.
him?
Yeah, what the hell?
It's like a bimbo, but a man.
I'm sorry. Am I supposed to?
I think we just like okay.
I disagree with that. I don't think he's that dumb.
I don't think he's dumb either.
He
I like
makes
him.
poor choices sometimes. Like
once
at
again,
the
it's been
end
a while
there.
since I've read this, so I
But-
could just.
But let's just look at it though. Like for the first book in her series,
it's really
like
good.
Throne of Glass was pretty like chill, like pretty
Yeah.
surface level, and like so was A Court of Thorns and Roses. Like I feel like for the first book in a new world,
They're
the
so
world building,
real.
I
the characters,
feel
like the
like
depth, like it's good.
Maybe that's why. I don't know. It was just at some point. There was a lot.
There was
A lot going on
Yeah.
It was
compared
a
to like
lot.
all the other books. I feel like because we had so many other books in
Yeah.
the
I mean-
series, and so a lot of stuff happened in between
Yeah.
those books, and like it's the longest.
This is a first
one,
book,
and so
with
it's just like
800 pages.
there
like,
was a
that's-
lot of twists and
Yeah.
turns.
Usually she
and
doesn't
I
go
think,
that long until the end.
Like this was almost a series all in one of things
Yeah.
that were going down.
That's
I was
true.
like, okay.
That's
Yeah.
true. When I
It
did
definitely is.
while reading it, like the middle part, I was a little bit like, what are we doing?
Exactly.
Yeah.
I was kind of.
I
There
was
was
trying
a
to see
lot of
where it
twists
was
and
going.
turns. Exactly.
Yeah.
There was a lot of like,
and it didn't
which is,
go where I thought it
I
would
mean,
go.
Not in the
intriguing, but at the
slightest.
same time, it's kind of like, does she know where she's going with this? I don't know because it keeps
We're
changing.
both on this journey together.
She might not.
Or
Sometimes,
might not.
sometimes I think she gets partway through and changes her mind. Like with
Yeah,
Throne of Glass,
I
like
can
I
see
feel
that.
like, I mean, I don't know, I'm not Sarah J. Maas, so I don't know what she was thinking. But like, you read the first 2 books and you're like, okay, so this is what the series is doing.
Right.
And
Like
then she
the
gets to the
first
3rd book and she's like,
read.
you know what? Screw it.
Yeah.
We're
Scratch
doing
that.
this now. And then you get to freaking like Empire of Storms and you're like, what?
Yeah.
What?
Same series.
That's
It's
what
like
we're
a different series.
Yeah.
It
Once
does,
you get
yeah.
like even
I
until
mean, even
the
the
end
main
of the
character
third
is
one,
technically
you're
different.
like, what the frick? But then at like the very end, all of a sudden it's like the, oh, and then
It
the rest of
became
the
like,
series
it
is
became like
cool.
super fantasy.
Yeah.
Well, I feel like this one was more like cohesive,
Yeah.
but it still did feel like it might be like 2
Maybe.
separate stories
Yeah.
almost. But
Mhm.
I don't know. Anyway,
Yeah, there was just
What are your
what
overall
do you
thoughts?
feel?
There was a lot of emotions. I think I was texting you, Courtney, the entire time, and I'm
Probably
like, oh, this person
shouldn't.
died. Wait, no, I like that person.
You no. She didn't just text me. She sent me screaming Snapchats.
That's how I always go back.
She was like, "Oh my God, did Danica just die?" And you were like screaming and freaking out. Next page, it's like, "Oh, okay." Like,
I was
okay.
calling it. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, it was for sure one of my favorite books.
I loved it. Yeah.
And one, I think, just amazing piece of writing from her. Like, honestly, I feel
it
like
does show
every
improvement.
every
from her.
book she writes, I feel like you can be like, oh my gosh, like she's improved so much, which is
I would
like
to,
so crazy because she's just an amazing
I only
writer
marked, like,
to
3
go off of
things.
it. But
was gonna
One
say
of
a
them.
few words. Her writing does get.
I just have to
so
point
much
out.
better. What?
He'd think on that later.
oh yes,
She does say that
God,
a lot.
yeah, there is a couple
Really?
of phrases she does repeat.
He'd think on that.
He'd think on that later.
It's funny.
That's
It's almost like she's like, "We're gonna revisit this."
We-
We'll
I
think
feel like
on
we
that
need to
later."
explain.
So Throne of Glassers, the whole time, it's always, she'd think on that later. She'd think on that later. It's written so many times throughout, and I mentioned it to these guys one time, and they're like, I never noticed that. And then they read the next one after that, and they're like, oh my gosh, she does say that all the
It's
time.
everywhere.
So,
What
yeah.
perspective is this one in?
It's so, because
Well,
you
we
had
get it from
You get it from Bryce and Rune
and Hunt.
and Tect.
Oh,
Which I love.
I straight up forgot that.
But
Hunting
it's
and
not-
Deckard. It's third person.
Yeah, it's third
Yeah, it's
person
third
though.
person.
Because, which is interesting, because I feel like, especially with the writing in this one, the characters themselves, since it's in third person, you don't know everything that they're doing. They can hide stuff from
That's
you,
true.
you know, which kind of comes out at the end. You're like, oh, this person did know this the whole time, and we didn't
Yeah, like
know it.
Mr. Hunty.
Like, Hunt.
Hunty over there lying
Particularity.
everything. Hunty.
Hunty.
Well, we all liked it, I guess.
Yeah.
We all liked this
Yeah.
book.
Yeah.
It wasn't my favorite of her books,
Yeah.
but I
guess we
I
can-
really liked it.
Yeah, I guess we can just like kind of talk about like some of the like big things in the book.
Should we talk
Like,
about like the overarching
I would say, like-
world building first?
Yeah.
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 Like for me, like starting it, I literally knew nothing about this book because I was just like, oh, it's Sarah J. Maas, like I'm gonna read it. And then I started, and within the first like 15 pages, I was like, "What the hell is happening?" Because
Yeah.
I've never really
Yeah.
read a like urban fantasy.
No.
Like so it's felt like it was set in our world, but there's like witches and werewolves and fae
Just,
and
like,
angels
everything.
and like
Yeah.
literally everything. It's like
Yeah.
it's almost like
Also, it's like the
What's that
Norse
book?
setting, because it's Midgard.
Oh,
Which,
yeah, that's true.
and it's like the veneer.
Or like the Cruel Prince.
a city of bones. It's like a city of
Mm.
bones. Is that what it's called? City of Bones? A
City of Bones?
I don't.
City
That's
of
terrible. I don't read
Is
Cassandra
that
Clare.
the... Oh, I think I did. I think I did read that one.
Sacrilege, I think.
And I
Long
didn't
time.
like it.
City
So
of
I
Bones
didn't
is
read
set in
this.
our world, but then there's like
Yes.
also all of the other like crap in it.
Yes.
Yeah, it's like the
It's like
Cruel
that.
Prince where she's from the modern and then they like bring her over to the fantasy. That's
Yeah,
the only thing I
kinda.
remember.
That
about
one's
the
like
book.
alternate. I feel like. a
But it's
little
like
bit.
still in the same.
Yeah.
Isn't the like
But
the
this
fairy
one,
world that
this
they're
one,
talking about?
everybody knows about everything though.
Yeah.
It's like humans know about like angels and
True.
everything.
It's everybody's
They
living
just everyone's
cohesively.
yeah.
Yeah, it's like Lord of the Rings. There's all like the
It
different
is,
species
yeah, it is
modern,
that
But like
live.
modern day. day. Yeah.
Yeah, which
Legolas
is
is
probably like a
Starbucks.
common thing to read, like urban fantasy. I just don't
Maybe.
read that,
Yeah, I
and
never
she
read
doesn't
that.
write that.
Yeah.
So I was like surprised when it started, and I was like, she's a cell phone. Like I'm used
Yeah,
to, I'm used to
that's
Selena being
And a
like, how
jean
am
jacket.
I gonna
Like,
contact
yeah,
them?
exactly. No one knows anything.
Yeah.
They don't have a way of
The
contacting
leather
each other. You have to
jacket.
walk
Yeah.
10
I know.
years.
That's your
Feyre-
episode.
Feyre's like mind chatting to Reese, like,
Yeah.
hey, what's up? Like,
Yeah.
that's what I'm
That's
used
the
to.
equivalent, yeah.
So that I thought was really cool, and I
I
actually
loved
grew
that.
to like that a
Yeah.
lot. That like she can reach Hunt easily, and like other people, like she can just call them or whatever. And like she's FaceTiming her mom. Like I
yes.
love that.
Yeah.
And I really love the whole like taking pictures thing with her and
Oh,
and
that-
Hunt. My favorite, the line where they're like in the cell phone store buying her a new phone,
Yeah.
and she's going through his phone. She's like, "Hunt, you only have 10 pictures of this phone, and they're all of dead bodies, dismembered bodies." And he's like, "Shh, don't say that so loud," because everyone's like, "What? Who is this guy?"
Oh
And so
my
then
God.
they just start taking
I
pictures
forgot
on his
about
phone
that.
all the time. And it's
Moments
Yeah.
like that are
That
what
was
make her
cute.
books like
Mhm.
so good.
Yeah.
Like those like cute, just little weird.
Can I say though, I was laughing at the part near the end of the book when they're going through and looking at the
Oh my
pictures.
gosh,
It was like
yeah.
an entire page, or
Like
a page
a
and a half of
huge-
just the pictures on the phone, and like, and this happened in this one, and this happened in this
And
one.
you're like, "I
And I was like, oh yes.
She's like, this book was 14 years long, so we have to remember
Right.
what happened.
Every single picture that was taken.
But the
Yeah.
author has to remind you halfway through the book what the book is about.
Because it's
That's
taken
fair.
so many turns.
Yeah.
It's a lot of pages.
Also, I just realized sitting here though, Bryce is the only of her main characters whose both of her parents are still alive.
You're right, because
Yeah.
Selena's parents are dead, and Feyre's mom
Mom.
is dead.
Yeah.
Yeah, look at her. Aw,
True.
growth.
Gross.
Ah,
Well, she
gross.
has a bonus parent.
She does. She's
True.
a
Yeah, that's
bonus.
true.
A good old
Good old
dado.
dad.
Yeah, but yeah, the world I thought was really cool. It was interesting. I'm excited
Yes,
to
it's
see where it goes because honestly, like the beginning of this book, you think it's just gonna be like a murder mystery.
Yeah, which
Like-
but I loved that was still
And
because
it's
I'm
not.
into that, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I loved that it was like
Yeah.
that interwoven with everything
It's
else.
like-
Just
Yeah.
why I didn't know,
You know?
I like, was surprised Courtney liked it so much, because I thought, I
I
mean,
think
but
we've
it's still
decided
Sarah
though
J.
that
Maas
Courtney
and
does
everything,
like a mystery if there's like the romance.
Yeah, because I mean, like this book
That's-
has like true
Does he like
crime, it
Star
has
Wars?
romance, it has
You
murder
like Star Trek
people.
the Ripper?
I know that makes me so
This
so
book
like
has
Fair,
otters.
though.
That's the best part.
Okay. romance drives a plot. Okay,
Yeah.
that's just a
Yeah.
fact.
I
So
agree
does
with that.
murder.
No, because honestly, I literally didn't even
Drives a
care who
plot.
killed Danica at that point. I was like, I don't even, whatever. Like,
I mean, she
I
was only there
cared.
for like 20 pages,
Because-
so that's why we
well,
didn't care
okay.
that much.
It
I had
started
emotional
starting
bonds.
off like I did. I really
As I
liked
do to
Connor.
characters who die.
I
I
really
was-
liked
I know.
Connor.
Yeah, I liked
Danica,
Connor.
I was kind of like indifferent to, but then they died 50 pages in, and I was like,
Like
what is this book gonna be about?
The
Oh, yeah.
classic.
I'm expecting like
Yeah.
this like werewolf story or something,
Yeah.
at the-
Right.
and then they die, and I was like, okay, so what?
Yeah.
But then the second you meet Hunt, I was like, okay.
Yeah.
Like,
Classic
Yeah.
Sarah J. Maas like providing some good character trauma right at the
Right.
start
We
there.
love a trauma.
Always
we
has
love
to
a
be a
trauma.
trauma.
we love just.
But I do feel like that
brutal.
kind of does make sense because it's like Connor was maybe the first love interest. that-
Maybe, but the thing
But I
is
don't-
about
we don't
that,
know.
I
can't
thought the whole
read.
Connor thing, there was a lot of like, I feel like she
Reed.
built that up more than
I
it
mean, he
was.
sucked.
Yeah.
Like, he was a
Like,
very
it's
clean
like,
romance.
no, it's like Selena and Dorian. It never really was a thing. It's sort of like they dabbled,
were
but it was never
a
a
thing
thing.
longer than they were in this. Come
Yeah,
on.
Dorian
Dorian
was
was like an
in love
entire
with her
book
to like the third book.
over that.
Oh my god, they literally just flirted. They were never in a
Oh,
relationship.
not
she was
Dorian.
with
I'm
Kale.
sorry. I'm thinking of
Oh,
Kale.
Kale.
Okay, no, backtrack though. Think
But
about
no,
it, though.
okay, but no one cared about
Okay,
that. We
but-
moved on from Dorian. I'm so sorry.
What? I don't like Dorian.
Sorry, Amber, I'm so sorry. I should have done up with Tori. I know you're really
I thought I
sorry.
hit you. That's why I
Oh.
said sorry.
No. What I'm trying to say is like think about it like. You know how everybody from the wolf pack like hates on her and calls her like a whore
Okay,
because
yes, that
she
bothered
like
me a lot.
dated Connor and like they
But
were
they
meant
didn't
to
even.
be.
They had one date
That's
set
what I'm
up.
saying. Is it doesn't?
Yes.
It was
Well-
built up to be like this whole relationship,
Yeah.
but it literally was nothing.
Because-
like they liked each other.
Because she wrote in there that
That's it.
werewolves mate for life or something, and so
Well, yes, they're like.
I do. It does
possessive
like
thing.
talk about their background in here. Is that like they had been best friends too for like several years.
Yeah.
Like 5 years.
They've
or
been
something
really
like
good
that.
friends, but they put all this pressure on
But,
that, like,
yeah.
she was his
It was
girlfriend,
too
and that, like, when that night when they all died, like, she's such a whore because she was hooking up
Yeah.
with someone else, and it's just like, can we not?
Can we not
If she
slut
wasn't,
shame?
yeah, like,
That's
first of all, they weren't even dating,
stupid.
okay?
Yeah.
And she can have sex with whoever she wants. Which is another thing I loved about this book, and all of her books, is that, like, I mean, there was slut shaming in this, which is,
Yeah.
like,
Yeah.
but there is, like, sex positivity. I like that she doesn't just find, like, that one guy, and she's like, I'm a virgin, and I'm with him, and, like, he's the only guy I'm ever gonna be with. Like, that's not how it is. Like, in this book, like, she hooks up with, like, a guy that night, at the club, and then she hooks up with, like,
She
another
hooks up with
guy,
multiple guys
and then,
at
like,
multiple clubs.
What was that
She's
one
with
guy she
friend.
hooked up at, like, the club, and he's like, I don't have money to pay you.
I know, she's like,
and she's
it's
like,
fine.
I'm not a prostitute, but okay.
You know, I don't even think she
Don't
tells
worry
him.
about
She just kind of like, don't worry about
She
it.
just kind of like, okay, bye.
Which is, like, gross also in its
Yeah.
own way. You're like, really, she has to be, like, a prostitute to, like,
Like, have sex.
have sex casually? Like,
Yeah.
okay, whatever. But, anyways, next, what's our other thing we want to talk about?
Oh,
How the world's
Well,
set up.
yeah.
Like,
Did we just talk about that? Oh.
like how.
Oh, like the ruling of it? Like
yeah,
the
like the
government?
like that like yeah.
So
that
the
part.
archangels are in charge, and they're over different sectors. So this
Mhm.
sector, it's Micah. He owns Hunt. Hunt.
Yeah,
He
does
does.
own him.
He
He
does.
owns him.
He's a
He's
slave.
a
Hunt
slave,
is a
yeah.
slave.
There's a couple of slaves there.
Yeah,
right?
there's a
Yeah,
lot.
that was an interesting take too of like slavery.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if I, like, loved that.
I didn't love it. No,
But
was-
it did surprise me that we had
Interesting.
angels being, like, I don't remember the name of, like, I don't know if it's, like, was, like, 4 or 5, like, head honchos.
I know, what is it?
Who
I-
are, like, because Micah's an archangel.
Yeah.
So I don't know if they're just, like, straight up angels. Like, I don't remember, like,
I don't
that.
remember. the
but I
name.
was surprised that angels were, like, the ruling class because all of her other books, it's, like, fae. Fae are, like,
Yes,
the
that's
it
true.
people. So it's actually kind of funny, like, because Bryce is half fae.
Mhm.
And like seeing like her, like, yeah, we're all spoilers obviously by this point.
Obvious.
Her dad like being the like king of
The
fae,
fae,
but
right.
he's like doesn't matter.
Right.
He's like not an
Yeah.
important person really.
I mean,
if you
he's a
think
little
about
He
it.
is.
I'm used to like you know like in her other books like the
Yeah.
fae are like
like that like the
Like, they're
high
it.
lords or
Yeah.
like the
Yeah.
like
So-
Yeah, the
leaders.
fae
But
are
he's
pretty
not
higher
the
than
top
the-
of the.
Yeah.
He's up
it's
there,
just
but
funny
there's
seeing the
more powerful
angels.
people.
Yeah.
And like Hunt being an angel, and like I keep forgetting he has wings, just like with Reese. I was like, oh, this homeboy's got wings.
Yeah.
I think it is interesting that this is the first time her main character isn't a fae, so isn't part of that like super powerful group of people. But
I'm sure she's kind of like an outcast. Like,
I mean, she is fae, but in this series, like,
well,
but she's looked down upon.
Yeah,
Yes,
she's
because she's
not.
like,
oh, because she's
half
like
human.
Yeah,
half
she's a half.
human.
yeah.
Which is also like a race thing. Wow,
Yeah.
she topped up.
Yeah.
There were a lot
There's
of
a
top
lot of themes
going
in this
on
book.
in here. Themes, yeah, seriously. Wow. Now I'm thinking about it.
Yeah.
She does like her misunderstood main character though, who's like
Oh,
a
she
little
loves
bit
it.
of a like outcast, like
Mhm.
Yeah.
I don't know, and like that hot,
She like
that hot winged male.
Hot winged. She
Gotta
does love
have
her hot
winged
winged
males
male.
with wings.
Yeah.
Except for Rowan. Rowan
He's
didn't have
technically
wings.
He
is a
did.
hawk.
He did not.
So-
He did have wings.
She loves the
We
wings.
She
love
loves
the
the
wings.
We love it.
Right.
Yeah, so we have the archangels at the top, and then like the angels are kind of almost like the governing.
Yeah, they're like,
Like
the
lords.
legion or whatever, like the.
Like they keep the peace.
The
Yeah.
upper
They're
class.
like police officers.
Yeah, they're almost. I
Yeah.
would say they're like.
Oh my god, I totally forgot
Yeah.
that. Like each, because
Like
they each
the-
have their own like sector,
Right.
Yeah.
and they each have their own kind of like police force.
Yeah, that's
Because
just you
like
have
the
wolf
wolves,
packs.
they were like they kind of
Yeah.
policed.
And then the Fae Auxiliary.
yeah,
That rune.
And then what about the mer
Mhm.
people?
they're just doing
They
their
do
own
their own,
thing.
They're
their own
like
thing.
under
Yeah,
the
basically.
river.
Yeah,
most
the
of
river
time, so.
people. Yeah,
But they do have like higher up people that will like come in for meetings and
Yeah.
things. So
I liked that. Like the political side of it was kind of like
It was
fun.
cozy.
interesting.
But I mean, talking about like characters, I loved all of the characters.
Same.
They're so
Yeah.
good. Like Therian is great. I
Yes.
freaking love Rue, and I love Rue.
I love Rune. Yes.
That just reminded me. Do you
Rune's
remember that
friends.
part when they go to shoot and they're all kind of like, "Oh, this is how you
Yes.
use a gun,
Oh,
Bryce?"
yeah,
and
that
she's
was
like, "Okay," pulls that gun out. And she's like, "Pop, pop, pop," and she's just
And she's like,
and then all the guys,
Dad.
all the guys are like, oh shit.
Yeah.
Like,
Forgot
she
Don't
knows.
they live like in like a mansion together and
Yeah.
Rune's,
Yeah.
like
Like a
their dad
trash-
like hates it.
like a frat house.
Yeah.
Yeah.
they live in a
It's
frat
a
house.
frat house.
Oh, what were their names?
I literally
it
don't
is
know.
I keep
one of them starts with a
forgetting.
D.
Was it Daryl?
No.
Daryl?
No, it's not
Daryl?
Daryl.
What if it is Daryl and we're like,
It's
no,
not
it's
Daryl.
not Daryl.
It's not.
Darren?
Oh.
Was there? Was it
Darian.
Emmett? Why am
Oh.
I thinking Emmett?
That's Twilight.
There could be other Emmett.
No, there's only
There's
one
only one
Emmett.
Emmett and he's in Twilight.
They're all there together.
Oh, I love that.
Declan.
Declan.
What's the other one though? Oh wait. Emmett. Aha, Emmett.
Oh my god, it is Emmett!
Oh! Okay, wait, real quick. Can we look at this picture of
Look.
Rune?
I love Rune.
Yeah.
Doesn't he have like tattoos all over his body and
Yeah.
piercings and stuff?
Yeah.
Probably.
He's like totally gonna be gay.
Age
Right?
75.
Rune?
I feel like I want him to be gay. Is that a weird thing?
I think we said
was-
in, like...
I mean, he could be bi, but he was attracted to
Oh,
what's her
I
face.
forgot
And
that
they were
witch
gonna get
lady.
married- Yeah.
I want him to be gay. I don't know why. That's like a weird.
Declan was the one that was gay.
Yeah.
Yes.
Well, should we
And the
talk
one,
about though, like
Angel was
her
too.
relationship
yes.
with Rune?
Gay.
But there's not like a main.
Isaiah.
Well, I guess Fury.
Yeah. But we should talk about her relationship with Rune because we don't get
Yes.
sibling relationships. Feel like very good ones.
Yes.
Oh, no.
But
I
I love their
love their
relationship.
relationship.
It's so cute.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like I mean they don't talk for like a while because he was like a douche to her.
Yeah.
But I really liked that like brother like protective thing
Yeah.
that he had.
Yeah.
Oh, it just warmed my heart. And I loved like they like fixed their relationship, right? And then like 3 seconds later he did what did he do? I can't even remember. He like
Oh,
did
he
something
didn't let
and she
her-
was like, "Oh, F
He
you."
claimed her so that Hunt, like he claimed her as part of his house,
Oh!
so that she couldn't trade herself for Hunt.
Yes. They had just made up, and then
Yes.
she tries to be like, take me instead, and
Yeah.
he's like, you can't take her because she like
She's
belongs
part
to
of the
us.
family.
And she's like,
Yeah.
excuse me,
She's like, I'm an
a-
independent
I'm an
woman.
independent woman,
Yeah.
and he's just like, will you just shut up? I'm trying to save your life.
Yeah.
I know you're an independent woman. right
No,
now,
I'm not gonna let you go.
I'm saving
die.
you from slavery. Like, let's just take it back,
Calm
okay?
down.
Like, calm down. But yeah, I really, really, really liked their relationship.
Yeah.
I loved like the whole thing with like her and Hunt and how much they hated each other, and he was like following
Yes.
her around, like hating
Like
her
a
the whole
disgruntled
time.
puppy almost.
He was.
It was really cute.
Yeah. I love that.
Their snark, their photos together.
Yeah.
I'm a big fan.
And then obviously like her little buddies at her work. I really liked
Yeah.
that.
Yeah.
I literally can't say her name.
It's
Lele.
Lahaba.
Lele.
Lebaha.
Lahaba.
Which, honestly, part of the top 10 most, like, the saddest character deaths, I think.
That was
So it was sad. It was very cute though, like her little
It was,
speech, I
yeah,
liked
just the
it.
way, because what were the exact words she said? Like, my friends are behind me, I will not be afraid, or like
Something like that, yeah.
Like, I literally cried at that part, and you
It
guys
was
know I
true.
do not cry
Yeah.
at stuff.
We should probably talk about like the whole like plot stuff.
Yeah.
Like,
True. Let's have jump
I mean,
Yeah.
we're going throughout
Like-
the entire book, just everywhere.
because we already talked about how we thought it would be like kind of just a murder like solving thing, which like the whole first like half of the book that is what it is.
Yeah, it's
her
just
and
true
Hunt
crime.
going around and
Yeah.
they're like, did the Viper Queen do it? Did this person do it?
Yeah.
And then you kind of get that information about they think it's Sabine. They think
Yeah.
it was Danica's
Yeah.
mom that killed her. And honestly, when they said that, that's who I'd been suspecting the entire
Yeah.
time.
Yeah.
I was like, oh, Sabine did it.
Because Danica
100%.
had more power than Sabine.
Yeah.
Sabine
Right.
was like jealous.
She didn't like that.
Because was it the grandma or the grandpa or
The
someone
grandpa.
The grandpa.
gave her sword. Or
Well,
their
she
sword.
kept calling her
grandpa.
daughter a whore too, and so
Yes,
she was
Sabine's
a good
the
person.
worst.
So you just
Yeah.
kept thinking she
Sabine?
was just like
You're not good vibes.
Bad vibes.
Good
Yeah,
vibes.
The
so
worst.
that came out and
Yeah.
like I totally thought it was Sabine, and then like who did they even think it was after that? Because they were like, oh wait, it wasn't Sabine.
Was that before or after the Viper Queen?
After Sabine
Well,
was
then
like a pretty.
Well, then we got to the point where we thought it was Danica that killed.
Oh.
That's true. We thought
Everyone.
that Danica took the drug or something and went crazy.
Oh my god, because freaking Hunt like led her to believe that because he had been like
Yes.
doing all this stuff behind the scenes.
Yeah.
And he had like been gathering all this information and not telling her about it, which was like not a cute look for him.
No,
I was
it
like,
wasn't.
oh. But then she goes to like do this like drug bust type thing to see like who's selling the synth, like that weird
Yeah.
synthetic magic thing.
Oh yeah.
And she goes there and Therian
With
like
Therian.
goes with her and she like sees Hunt, which honestly I was not expecting that.
No.
I was so pissed. I was like, "You're gonna do that to me, Sarah!" I was like, gonna throw this book. I'm like, "You're
I
gonna
was
do that."
so mad.
Lying like in pain
Well,
in bed.
yeah, I
dying.
thought it was gonna be like a twist where it's like Hunt suddenly is like this killer to like advance his like rebellion like thing to like do that
Yeah.
again.
It literally, it
believable.
was really late when I
Yeah.
read that part, and it was like, it was Hunt. And I was like, I don't have the mental capacity to keep reading right now. I need to go to bed.
I was
can't
so
handle this.
pissed. Like,
So
she
mad.
did
Yeah,
him
it's kinda
dirty.
like
Much for
Yeah.
Chewie.
Yeah, that was pissed me off big time. And then she like full on like ended it with him at that point. Like
Yeah,
when she
she's
saw
like,
that, she was like,
"Screw
"Oh,
you,
so
don't ever talk to
get
me
away
again."
from me." And then Therian like got her out
Yeah,
or
and
something.
then
I can't.
And
Yeah.
Fury, she's there too.
But honestly, like the whole thing that ended up happening with Micah, I like didn't really see that coming. Like I didn't.
Mm-mm.
I suspected him from like for something.
Yeah.
Because at the
Right.
beginning you're like, why was he right by the apartment when the bodies were
Yeah.
discovered? Like
Yeah.
why was Micah so close?
Why
You know,
was
like
he
that's
so invested
that's
in this
suspicious. And why is he so
investigation?
invested? So I'm like, there's something. I thought the whole time, because the whole time we're thinking that somebody's like summoning this creature, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so I was like, maybe he's summoning it. Like that's
Yeah.
like what's happening.
It's just for us.
But like, we talk about the things that stand out to us, right? You know.
Yeah.
I don't even remember fully everything we talked about.
Just the Starlight stuff.
Oh.
Which that was surprising.
Oh, I
actually.
thought it was him. That's what that note was. So, like, you remember at the beginning when, like, they were thinking it was Sabine, I thought it was the Autumn King. Because at the beginning when, like, Rune goes in to talk to him and he's, like, doing some calculations with, like,
Oh, he's
light and he
making
needs a special kind of light for something to do something. And so I thought that...
Oh yeah,
like,
they did kind of hint at something.
Yeah, they
He was
hinted at he's doing
there.
something weird. And so I thought... And he needed Rune's Starlight for that. And
That's
you need
true.
the Starlight
And
for the
he
horn.
wanted
so I
the
thought that
horn
he was...
specifically
I thought
for
he had figured
the
out a way to
fate.
heal the horn.
Well, that's
Because
true
he's
because
the
he
one that
had
wanted
been
the
he'd been
horn.
asking Rune to find the horn,
Exactly.
and then Rune asks his sister to like help him find the horn,
Yeah.
and she's like, "Yo, everyone wants me to find this horn."
Yeah.
Listen, everyone, I am the horn, and no one else needs to know that.
She didn't
Well,
even
she
know
didn't
it.
even know it. Yeah.
Not even me needs to know that.
It did like break my little heart. I know we keep talking about this, but like Rune and her like fighting like hurt
Yes.
me
I
deep
know.
into my soul. Oh my gosh, also I guess we've talked about how Hunt is a slave and like his weird like thing with Micah that he has to like kill a certain amount of
Yeah.
people, and like that's kind of why he's with Bryce is to like lower that. But like the part when Micah sends him to kill
Oh!
those like guys
Yes.
and he comes
And he
back
comes
to her
back.
apartment.
Yes.
That scene, and he's
Yeah.
like, "Do you remember that?"
Yeah.
Oh, he's
Yeah.
like basically
'Cause he
He's
just
like
goes and,
covered
like,
in blood.
Tortures himself by like
Yeah.
going in a
Scalding
scalding
water.
shower every time.
So
he
he's like
has to
in
kill
there for a
somebody.
long time, and she's like, "You good? Like, where are you at?" And so she goes in there, and she like that scene I really liked because it's
Mhm.
not sexual.
No.
It's nothing like that. It's like her just like really taking care of him, and I just love scenes like that.
Mhm.
Like she just like helps him like takes his stuff off and like
Yeah.
helps wash the blood off, and like he's never really had somebody like
No.
No,
do
he's
that
had
for
no one
him.
to kind of like. Didn't he even say his what was Sandriel's sister's name? Like
Shahar-
she
Shahar?
didn't do that either.
Shahar?
Something like
Shahar.
she was like
Shahar.
super.
No, I just.
Because I feel like the more we learn about her, like, because he kind of likens her to the bomb guy. What's his name? What?
The bomb.
The bomb guy, the mortal guy
Oh,
at the beginning that
yeah.
they pinned the murders on.
I don't
That-
remember
I can't think
now.
of his name.
Wait,
The-
Briggs.
Briggs, thank you,
Yeah.
yes.
I thought you were
'Cause-
talking about Guy Fawkes for a second.
yes,
They talk
Guy
about
Fawkes.
Guy
Cat Box
Fawkes there.
a lot, and the
Don't you know? No, but
the bomb guy.
no, but like when they go and like interview him, when we go meet with him, and Hunt is like, frick, I don't know, he sees like so
Himself
many, he sees himself
and
in him
others,
so much, and
yes,
it's like I was
he
just following
talks
her
about
blindly,
it.
and I almost feel like that relationship was not. like he's still like obsessed with her, and I'm sure he did like love
Well-
her, but it also seemed like it wasn't a healthy relationship
No,
where
and
she
he
was
hints at that. Like, they
Right.
talk about it.
Like,
he mentions it wasn't really, like, it was love in a way
No.
of, like, she saw him as something more than, like, what...
than, like
what he
worthless,
thought
which
of
is-
himself, or like what they
But
had
she,
all
in the
imagined
end, she
him
was
to
still
be.
using
But
him.
he didn't. It wasn't like true love, and it wasn't
No.
like they really cared
No.
deeply about
Exactly.
each other. And it wasn't.
It was
yeah.
more just like he admired her so much and was
right.
like, she's giving me
and
a
she
chance.
admired him
And
for what
she's-
he could
yeah.
do.
Yeah.
Well, also, like, with stuff like that, there's always a tendency to romanticize somebody after they die.
Yeah.
So I
Yes.
think, like, even if, like, that relationship wasn't good, he's still gonna look back and be like, oh, I was in love with her. And so he's gonna
Yeah.
only see, like, the good parts of it.
Right.
And that's why it was annoying reading it, because you're like,
Yeah.
this wasn't even a good
This
relationship,
was-
yet
no.
he still can't move on from it. But, like,
Right.
you do that when people die.
Mhm.
You you see the good, like,
Yeah.
things that they did and not necessarily all the bad things.
Yeah.
I don't know.
And I think also just that she was a symbol of like fighting for freedom, and he is still stuck in slavery because they lost. So
Yeah.
he lost more than just her that day, you know.
Well, especially because the entire time also he's like plotting a mini revolution.
Yeah, that we don't know about.
With a couple of
until
other
the end.
angels
That
who
was
one
crazy.
gets hung in
Oh
like the
my
atrium,
gosh.
the
Yeah,
other
do we
one
wanna
gets
talk
sent
about
to the
their
Marina
deaths?
Trench or something
The
like that.
crucifixion of what's his
Yeah,
face.
that's- they
and
mentioned that at
the beginning that they
box of
crucify
the soul
angels,
of
yeah.
the other.
Oh my gosh, I
Remember.
totally forgot
and they
about
just
that.
let the blood
Yeah,
just drip on the
floor.
box of the soul of. the
And then
raft.
was that at the point, like, his punishment was being given to Sandriel?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yes.
So his was, like, being forced to, like, live in
He had to
slavery with
rewatch
her.
all of the pictures of Bryce, so he knew what he had given
They
up,
just
what he was
stare at
missing,
him.
and then he also had to be sold to
That's right.
Sandriel.
Because his wings getting cut off was a punishment that Sabine, like, had pushed for.
Because
he went and got angry
went-
at what's her face because
the Wolfpack
they were
girl
all
for being
which very childish. I'm sorry. I was at that
Wait.
part when he was like grow up or whatever. I was like, come on.
But didn't that
Over and
girl
over
come back
again.
and she's like, I did not want.
No, she didn't
Yeah.
want that. I kind of felt bad
No,
for her.
yeah.
Yeah, because
Sabine
like
is
I
poison.
yeah.
it was hard. I kind of felt bad for her, but at the same time I was like, but you have been going on and egging on all of this. The
She's
whole
not,
time
like, a
and
good
being
person.
She's not a good
No.
person, but she
But
tried.
she
and in
almost
the
is
end,
like
she
a
did try
Draco
to go and help
Malfoy
out.
type, you know?
She is, yes.
Yeah.
Don't even talk about Draco Malfoy. I can't. I literally can't
Yeah.
with that. We can't talk about Harry Potter. I'll get in a rage.
We won't. I'm sorry. I'm sorry I mentioned
How
him.
dare
He
you?
must not be named. It's actually.
Yeah, it's actually.
It's actually
Draco
Draco.
Malfoy.
I can't.
Yeah.
Anyways.
Basically, this book is filled with many things, and
Yeah,
we
we
probably
probably
skipped
didn't-
over
yeah, we
so
didn't
many
even talk
things
about, like, anything
that we
else.
forgot about.
We talked mostly about like the end of the book.
Yeah, that's
Everything
true.
that happened at the end.
I mean, that's the cool
Precious.
part. We didn't talk about we didn't even talk about like the Viper Queen or like
Yeah.
Was she that important though?
there's the Viper Queen.
I can't even
She
remember.
Kind of egged things on a little bit, but she wasn't.
I don't
know.
even remember.
I feel
Honestly,
like she was a side quest.
Yeah, it's so good. My favorite parts of the book were honestly like not even the crazy parts. It was just like her and Hunt's like day to day like
Uh-huh.
going.
I mean, that doesn't
you know,
surprise
like,
me. You
no.
want that, really?
You love
You
it.
love
But
that.
yeah, I
And,
just
like-
love because they both their personalities are like so like sarcastic and like I don't know.
Wait,
I just,
isn't
like,
there a
they
scene
have
where
good
Hunt and
banter.
Maroon try to come to the antique store and Bryce is like, you don't have the proper clearance, like you can't come in here or something?
Yeah, I'm
Yes.
pretty sure.
I think she does that multiple
She's
times.
so-
when they try to
I know.
I'm
I feel
not
like
that.
people probably. I don't know. Sarah J. Maas is like a love-hate thing.
Yeah.
And a lot of people like say that all of her characters are like the same. I don't see that. Like I don't see them being the same. Like I feel like Bryce is way different in a lot of
Yeah.
ways. Like she's the same. I can see her being similar to Selena just because they're both like
But Bryce and Feyre,
no. Feyre I feel like is a total another ballpark.
Right.
I think it's mostly the
So
males.
much.
If we think about the
Yeah.
males, they're all like very
They're similar.
like
Because-
And just like the trope, it's always
brooding
like we
man
don't like
and
each other.
possessive.
Handsome,
Yes, it's like
wings.
the
Which
wings.
like
Night
Sarah J.
power
Maas
things.
has said that she's trash for like a like alpha male, and honestly same.
I mean,
Ugh.
I'm not against it.
I love an alpha
I-
male. But the difference was like, oh my gosh, this is like a huge thing I talked about with you actually that we totally haven't even talked about. I loved in this book, for the first time, that Sarah like talks about, like it's okay to be like to let someone take care of you.
Yes.
That like it's
Vulnerable.
because Bryce
Yes.
in this is constantly like, I'm independent, I have to do everything for myself, like I don't need a man, I don't need someone to take care of me, like, which is valid, and like I feel like that too, but then it's also like
It's okay.
it's okay to let somebody else take care of you,
Yes.
and like Hunt has to explain
Yeah.
that to her, where he's like, hey, like
Right.
you're still strong and you can still be independent, but you don't always have to be alone.
Because that was something that bothered me about Kingdom of Ash.
Yeah.
Is like that whole scene at the end there, you know? And not even at the end, it's kind of at the beginning, I guess. And
Yeah.
I won't go
I
into
think
details 'cause it's
Sarah,
not the
like
right-
in a lot of YA books especially, I think there is that like
Mhm.
tendency to be like,
And then she saved herself.
yeah, which
Yeah.
I love,
Which
that.
is great, but she doesn't have to save
But
herself
it's
every time.
also like healthy, I think, for like especially younger people
Mhm.
to like understand that
Like,
like, hey, you
people
should be able to
feel.
take care of yourself, but also you don't have to do everything by yourself.
Especially with
Yes.
everything, like, there's, like, mental health issues. Like, you don't have to just be, like, burden everything on yourself.
Yeah,
it's
you
not
know,
all
and just,
on
like,
you.
you
It's
all
okay
have
to get
yeah.
help.
So I think it's okay to
Yeah.
say, yes,
And especially
you can confide in me.
with Juniper, like when there was that explosion at the club and Bryce threw herself over Juniper and Juniper starts screaming at her. She's like, what are you doing? You haven't made the drop. Like, I've made the drop. Like, I'll
Yeah.
be immortal. Like, you could get hurt.
Mhm.
And that, I feel like that scene especially kind of just shows that, like, you need to, like, be able to have some, like, good friends to be able to rely
Yeah.
on and to open yourself up to. Because if you just
Yeah.
kind of close yourself off,
Yeah.
like, because that's kind of like what Juniper was trying to say. Like, listen, like, I am your friend. Like, I will be here for you. Me and Fury will be here for you. Like, we
Yeah.
want to help you.
You're
like,
not
you
by
do
yourself.
not have to do this alone.
Which main characters always do everything by themselves. Like
Yes.
it's all on me and blah blah blah. Especially like
And
Selena
the
always
only protagonist
did
in
that.
the world.
Like everything had to be just her, and she's
Right.
the only one that could do anything, and it's so annoying. And you like pointed out like stuff like the like kind of like man hating a little bit. Like sometimes didn't we like talked about
Yeah.
it? What did
And-
you say? Like
And there is
and
a
that-
similarity
and Throne of
between
Glass
the...
are-
I can't remember. I feel like
Yes.
when you were reading
Characters.
this, you were
And
saying
this one?
you were like I feel like you said something about how like there's a
There is
Bryce
actually,
has
'cause she
kind of
does
some
call
like
them-
man
what does
hating.
she call them?
She calls them some like there's
she
a
calls
term
them alpha holes.
alpha holes.
Yes.
It is kind. There is.
Yes.
because
I
you
do
said
see
you were like
that.
I don't
There is
like how
that
there's
in
like
the-
man like kind of like a man hating vibe, and I was like I see that, but I think that she did that for a reason to show that because Sarah loves alpha males,
Wait,
and that is kind of a toxic mentality.
Yeah.
But she shows that like it doesn't have to necessarily be like a
Yeah.
bad like.
what does she
thing,
call
like,
the Fae people? Like this, like the really alpha Fae people. Like, what is
Alpha
Fae?
holes?
She calls everyone alpha hole. This in this one.
No. But like in like Throne of Glass with the Fae.
Oh, she's like a whole like long thing she says.
I thought there was like a specific word for them too. But yeah, she
No,
has
it's
like,
like
a
a
very.
few. It's like a sentence.
She
She
has
says.
like a pattern of like.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I think that's why she like actually addressed it in this
She
book
does call them
finally.
Yeah.
something, and I can't
Because
think
like it's every single book it's like a
Like,
super
super
alpha like
Fae
mentality,
warriors or
Yeah.
and the
Fae
girl
warriors
being
or
like, oh my
something.
god, like whatever. But in this one, it's finally like she kind of addresses that as like, hey, I understand that you want to do stuff yourself, but I also like care about you and want to help you,
Yeah.
and like that's okay.
of it. I think
Sure.
it's just safe to say that male or female, you can take care of yourself, but you can also rely on
Yeah.
others for things.
Guys,
Because like
gals,
even
not
that
very
Hunt,
pals.
it comes on Hunt's side in this one too. I feel like, especially like in that scene after he has to kill,
And she takes care of him.
and she takes care of
That's
him, and
the
he's
thing, like,
like,
everybody
wow, like
needs
this
that.
feels so good to be taken care of.
Yeah,
So,
that's
I
literally
love that,
something
you
my
know?
mom has even said to me before
Yeah.
because I'm like hardcore like feminist and I'm just
Right,
like, oh,
yes.
like I don't
I
need
can handle
dudes, you
Yeah.
know,
I
like
feel
I don't
like
need that.
the
And
four
she's
of us
like,
are very
it's-
independent.
yeah.
Like,
but my mom is always like, it's okay, like to let somebody like take care of you. Like it's not
Yeah.
a sign of weakness
Right.
to like allow somebody to like take some of the burden off of your
Yeah.
life.
yeah.
Like, and that's such a good point because I always thought like that is weak to be to like
To be
have
like dependent on
yeah, to
someone.
be dependent on someone or
Yeah.
to like to rely on other people like that, especially
Yeah.
like to rely on a man. But like
It just shows
it's not like weak, it's just like that's what love is.
Yeah.
Like
Right.
whether it's a guy or like one of your friends, like love is like taking care of somebody
Mhm.
Yeah.
and being able to like take some
like
of
and not
your
seeing
hardships.
that as like weakness or
Yeah.
like
Mm.
using it like against you. Like it's
Yeah.
really just like
I actually
full out care.
yeah, I love that part of the book.
Mhm.
That I'm glad I remembered
good
that because
theme of
we
it.
had talked about that a lot like when we were texting about the book, but we hadn't actually talked about it yet.
Because I feel like
Yeah.
that's also one of the biggest themes of this book is just like the love between like friends. Because
Yeah.
there was
Because, like, she and
Danica
Danica
coming
they're-
back
yeah.
and saving her. There was Lele saving her to save like Bryce.
yeah, that's
Bryce
cute.
buying her freedom
Yeah,
and was gonna
buying-
surprise like Lele.
And Sirius too. Yeah.
Yeah, there's a lot of cute like friend
There's
vibes.
even like Rune and his two friends who like basically saved him from depression, I think.
Yes. And even Hunt and like at the end when she's like I'm pissed at you because of what you did, but I will still trade my life for you so that you don't have to be tortured again because you've already had to do that, you know?
Yeah.
Because she's
That's
true
friendship.
because she even like at that point like she was so pissed at him when she saw that he like had been hiding all that stuff from her and he was like knew about the synth because she had been trying to figure that out the whole time, and then even then when he's getting taken away like she still would sacrifice herself to save him even though he effed her over.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then
She's
like
such a good character.
I know. And
Love
then in that
her.
same scene when Rune is like, they already don't have the best relationship, and they were just kind of getting into a better place, and he's like, he knows that she'll be pissed if he claims her and stops her from doing that, but he still does it anyways.
Ooh, oh, this is a good book. I kind of
So
need to
good,
reread
I
this.
know.
Forgot all
Such
these
good
like
characters.
good little
Yeah.
things, even though it's 800 pages. And when do I have time for that?
Seriously.
Oh yeah, like when Hunt takes her to get the poison stuff out of her leg,
yes.
and he kisses her, and I was like,
Yes.
oh. And then when they're making out on the roof, and then friggin' Sabine comes and wrecks it, like everything else. I was like,
I did. Okay, right at that part when that happened, I was like, oh, I bet Courtney was pissed at that.
I was pissed. They were like getting down, and then she friggin' ruins it. But there's so many good scenes with them, like
Yeah. I friggin' love the, like, after Hunt finds out about Jelly Jubilee, the sparkly unicorn,
sparkly unicorn.
and they just refer to her as JJ always, and
JJ.
he's like, JJ would be proud of you or something.
so
Don't let JJ down.
Honestly, if
It's so
Bryce
good.
and Hunt don't end up together, I think I'll be okay with it if they still are like
Good
have
friends.
this
As long as they're
good.
still friends. I love
funny
that-
relationship.
I do love that they were like, we're friends, right? Like, we're friends, you know? Like, they had like a good, like, friends basis before
I
they...
feel like, yeah, they really did,
Yeah.
actually. They didn't get, like, involved for quite a while.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Is it bad? Like, I really love Bryce and Hunt. Like, I ship them, like, hard.
Yeah.
But there's a part of me, like, the part that likes bad boys, that is like, I hope she hooks up with Adis. He's like a
Honestly,
demon, and I'm like, oh,
It
get
would
it.
not
feel like-
surprise me if they end
there's
up,
a part
like,
of me that is
apart.
really into that idea
I
because
feel like, how about
I
you
like
just
a bad
read
boy.
Kingdom of the Wicked, because...
I
Literally
will.
isn't-
Yeah, that's why I just really want to talk about that. I
I know.
was
That's
all for that book.
not-
I love
Not
that
the
book,
talk,
though.
guys. Not the right
I know,
talk.
but holy frick, that book.
Well, whose fault is that, Courtney?
I'm sorry.
It's okay. It's
I
okay.
work
We know.
a
We
lot.
know
We
you're
get it,
we
stressed.
get it, we get it.
You've got things going on.
Alright. Well, does anyone have anything else you want to say about this book?
Let's close it out.
Okay, overall, 5 out of 5, 15 out of 10. Great book, would recommend.
Emotional
read it.
roller coaster. There's
very
a
It
lot
was
of-
an emotional roller coaster. There was a
Yeah.
lot of turns. There was a lot of
It's
a good
one.
turns.
Yeah, it was very good though. Really good writing,
Mhm.
really good world,
Great
really good characters.
Great story.
Never,
Plot.
I've never been disappointed
Insane
in
plot.
one of her books. I don't care what people say
Yeah.
about
Love
hers.
Thursday Mass.
I love her books. I feel like there is like good diversity. This book, I feel like there's a lot
Such
more.
yeah.
Yeah,
like
there was
I,
a lot
Yeah.
more.
which I
Which is really cool.
some good rep, good
'Cause it's,
representation.
yeah. I love that it's like all of the, it's not just everybody's fae.
Yeah.
I also like in this because it was like the norm, just whatever.
Yeah.
There wasn't right, like there was no like weird like heteronormative.
Yeah.
It was just like
Everything
whatever,
just-
like it's normal to just
Yeah.
be whatever.
Yeah.
Which I was like,
Yeah.
that's
It's
nice
pretty
and
cool.
Yeah.
refreshing. Because if you're building a fake world, why does it need to be like not that way?
The ways.
Like,
of
why would you
the-
choose to make it like our world, which
It's
sucks?
like what was that one person was complaining about Game of Thrones? They're like this is like historically inaccurate. There should only be like white people, and everyone's like historically inaccurate. Beach like this
it's
is a
fake.
it's dragons.
It's dragons.
It's dragons and like dead people
It's like
being
not
zombies.
a real world.
Yeah, no.
Hmm.
Anyway,
Okay, side note
yes,
there.
good book. Read it.
If you like this video, don't forget
Oh
to
my